Hey guys, welcome to Ella's Corner. If this is your first time stumbling on this, please subscribe, watch, like, and share my videos. My returning subscribers, thank you. Okay, we are going to be making fufu corn and spinach vegetable. I just want to walk you on how I do it. So in this side of the world, it's so hard to see njamanjama, which is what we usually eat with fufu corn. So sometimes we just try to see what we have to make do or to satisfy our cravings. So I'll be doing this with chicken. So I start first of all by cleaning my chicken. I clean my chicken with salt and I'll just have to season it with a bunch of seasoning. I use quite a little bit, but you can use any seasoning of your choice depending on what you're comfortable with. I use all-purpose seasoning, chicken seasoning, um, rosemary, and white pepper. That's what I use. I also use Kenyan pepper and paprika. So that's what I use to season my chicken. I'll also add a little bit of salt and Maggi on it, but it's just simple. You can use whatever thing you feel comfortable to season your chicken. So all I'm doing there is just to season the chicken and put it in the oven to be grilling while I continue maybe with my cooking or with the vegetable. Don't forget to put oil. Since I'm baking, I don't want it to be too dry and I want the seasoning to penetrate deep into the chicken as well. So after putting all the seasonings, I have to put oil also in it so that it sinks perfectly well into the skin of the chicken so that the taste will not stay just on the surface. It goes right deep into the chicken as well. So after mixing everything together, the spices and the oil, all I just have to do is to just go in with my hand. Just going to mix it all, making sure that the spices goes all over. That's just what I'm making sure it happens right now. When I'm done just mixing it, all I do is just pop my chicken in my conventional oven and I'll just let it there do its thing. So I'm going to be roasting this chicken at 400 degrees for like 40 to 50 minutes. And I'll turn sides at some point in time because I want both sides to be actually perfectly grilled. Yeah, I just prefer the conventional oven. A lot of people be talking, oh, don't use the air fryer, whatsoever the material that is used. But I like the way the conventional oven brings out my chicken. So, yeah, I had to just go with the conventional oven this time. And since it's small, there was no need to put it in a big the stove oven. So, yeah. So I'm just going to set it up and just leave it to do its thing while I go ahead and prep the vegetable. Let's keep that aside. Okay, if you're from Cameroon, you know that we always eat fufu corn, which is corn flour. We eat it with njamanjama, the way we call it. But it's sometimes hard to see njamanjama here. So sometimes we substitute it for spinach and it comes out the same. So I'll just go ahead chop my onions. But you see the spinach I saw you before, you can go for fresh spinach, you can go for chopped spinach, but this time I'm using chopped spinach. So I'll just chop my onions and I'll go now. I just took out the spinach, rinse it a little bit, and I always go ahead to season my vegetable before I fry it first of all because I want the seasoning to get into the vegetable. Vegetables they're kind of, if you really don't stir it very well, the seasoning doesn't go all over. So I season my vegetable first before putting it in the fire. Even though I'm still going to season the sauce, but just a little bit, not as much as I was supposed to season it if I did not put seasoning in the vegetable. So this is what I'm doing. I'm basically just seasoning my vegetable with shrimp powder and salt. So once do that, I'm just going to set that aside and bring my pot and start the cooking process. So all I do is I just set my pot on fire and put oil. I like oil in my vegetable, so you can put less oil if you want to, but sometimes I just like the oil. It helps also when you're eating the fufu. Yeah. Hey, don't blame me. I don't dump oil or I don't throw it. So we always make use of oil we used before. So that was all I used to fry fish, and I'm using it to cook the vegetable. It brings in the fishy flavor also in it, making it nice. So this time I'll be using um diced tomatoes. I do not want to go for fresh tomatoes, but that's just what I'm using as you saw before. So I'm going ahead to fry my onions. Mind you, I don't want water in my vegetables. So the diced tomatoes comes with water. So I'm definitely going to strain the water out and use just the tomatoes. So while my onions is frying, now I strain the water and I'm putting just the diced tomatoes from the cup. That's what I'm doing right now. So all you have to do from now is just to stir fry and make sure the tomatoes fry perfectly and the water dries off. Not totally, but at least a good quantity of the water should fry and dry off so that when your vegetable is added into the sauce, it's not going to be watery. You see, it's actually going down. All I have to do is I just have to keep frying. So for the sauce, don't forget to season it. So I had added a little bit of salt for the sauce, but I did not put any seasoning again because the seasoning that I already put in the vegetable is enough to carry the vegetable and the sauce. So I just had to put salt so that the tomatoes would taste a little bit good. Okay, you see how the tomato is completely fried? So that's what you want. You want the water to completely dry off. So I'll be putting my white pepper, garlic. You can put whatever seasoning you want, but I like garlic in my spinach. Even when I do vegetable, I like garlic in it. So I had to put a reasonable quantity of garlic in it. So just stir it and for it to go for like 1 minute, and then you put your vegetable. So when you're making spinach, this is actually the most difficult part of it because the spinach is not something that takes long to cook. Immediately you put it and stir, it is good to go. So I make sure everything is ready before I put my spinach. So you see the tomato is all good now. This is where I put my spinach. I just put my spinach, stir, mix to combine. Then my chicken is already ready and I'll just my chicken, and that's all about making spinach stew. Let me tell you, it tastes good and it tastes almost exactly like njamanjama. So if you're in an area where you can't have access or you cannot cultivate njamanjama or you feel like you really want to eat fufu and njamanjama and you're miserable, stop being miserable now because spinach has come to take the place of that one. And let me tell you, it tastes exactly the same and you're going to enjoy it. So that's my spinach. You can see that it's fully mixed, and all I want to do now is just to put my chicken in it and we're good to go. See how it looks. Tell me you're trying. Try this in the comment section if you lived in the Western world and you can have access to things you love back home. Tell me you're going to try it. So I'm going ahead to make my fufu. So I cut a bit of the flour and mix it with cold water because we want to do the paste first. So that's my fufu corn that I'm making. I'm just putting the part of the flour that I mix with cold water and I'll stir and I'll cook this part. This is the main part of cooking fufu. You want to cook this part to be ready before you incorporate the last flour, because this is very important part of making fufu. So all I will do is I'll turn this watery consistency and cover it to bubble and cook around 5 to 10 minutes. Trust me, you want your corn to cook perfectly. It's, corn is first of all hard to cook, so you want it to cook well. You don't want it to be strong whenever it gets cold. So you make sure the water you put in it is enough to sustain it. And you see, that one I had boiled water at the side, so I'll just mix it and cover it, because, as I said, this is the secret to making a very nice and soft fufu without crumbs. I repeat, without crumbs. All right, let's just see how it goes. So you see it bubbling. I'm touching it like that to see if the corn is ready. So the corn was ready, and I'll just go into incorporate my flour. So when you cook the first base, when you incorporate your flour, it's hard for you to have lumps in your fufu. So all I'll just do is put it and stir it and make sure everything goes around with no lumps. Let me tell you, it's going to be so smooth, and I don't have a word to describe it, but it's not that bad when you cook small quantities. It's a little bit, just a little bit tedious when you cook large quantities, but it's worth it. Let me tell you, corn fufu is the best. It's been like years I ate it, but I feel like, okay, let me do something. Let it not be like I'd forgotten how to cook my food. So you just mix and you see how it's going. If you want to add more flour, you add it depending on how many people are going to eat it. I'm making just a small quantity. For me alone, that can last me like 3, 4 days. Yes, that's what I'm going for. So when your fufu is fully mixed, the one that you added is raw, you know that. So you have to add some water, because you don't want it to be strong at the end. You add this water, just create some spaces behind and cover it. Cover it for like 3, 4 minutes. Then you come back. You see how I'm making the water. I want it to go to the bottom of the pot. Then all I just do is cover it, and I'll just come back from the final stage. So our fufu is ready. All we want to go now is for our last mix, and make sure we mix it properly and get that smooth and soft consistency. From the video you see, I'll go ahead to mix it and make it smooth. But mind you, even if I don't show it, I'll still add a little bit of water because it's a little strong here. So that's the final look you want to go for. So that's my fufu ready and ready to be served. See how smooth it is. This is what you bargain for when you want to make fufu. If you see lumps, you have missed it. You have missed it. So this is my fufu, and let's go serve and you see how it comes out. There you go. That's what you're going for. So you see how nice it came out? That's my fufu corn. And that's the vegetable, spinach vegetable. It's so delicious. Tell me you're going to be trying this in the comment section. So please like, share, comment, and stay tuned. Thank you for watching my videos. See you on my next video. Thank you so much. I love you. Thanks for the love and everything you showed me. See you on my next video.